Hello, hello. We about to do a drop fade. It's been a while since I've done a fade. We've done two tapers so far, or two tapers in a row, but gotta go back to the fade. This is really my bread and butter. I love doing fades. Tapers are fun as well, but fades are just more entertaining for me to do. I don't know how to say that, but starting with the ball line, you see how I drop it down low. It's almost like a taper in the back, and then I just connect the side guideline with the back guideline. Um, I really want to like dramatically drop it because when we do the steps, it just naturally goes away. The shape it forms is very, very shaped to the head. So I start the ball line in the back below the opposite of the bone, really low, and then in the side it's like very normal. That's why it creates the drop effect in the drop line. But yeah, you'll see that once the fade comes up, it's really not that drastic of a drop. It's just that first ball line should be drastic to set yourself up for success with the rest of the fade. Now I'm fading the beard. This is very simple. It took a while for me to get right, but it is very simple. I love to reiterate the fact that it's a ladder or a ramp going down. It's the opposite of going up, which going up would be the fade on the scalp. The opposite would be the fade on the beard. We're not fading that much, but it's still important to go through the steps to make sure that the beard is gradient and blurry. You got to play with your lever, you got to play with the guards, and you have to be careful because if you mess up, you can't just bring the fade up. Now you're bringing the fade down technically because you're going downwards with the beard. So you really got to be meticulous with where you are in the fade and what steps you're taking to create the fade and make it more gradient. That detail work with the no guard open, always good. Always good to do detail work with the corners. Use the corners. Now we're going with the 1.5 guard. This is the first guideline for me, usually most of the time with any fade, unless he has a lot of hair on the sides and I debulk. But we're going to do a 1.5 guard, not too big of a guideline. Still following that line with the bald. And then we're going to do the 2 open. The 2 open is going to debulk a lot of the hair on the sides. His hair is not that long, so I don't need the 4, the 3, but the 2 open is good enough to fade into that parotid ridge area without going too high. So after the 2 open, I'm going to do a 1.5 guard open close, play with the lever, and make sure you're not going above that line you just created with the 2.5. Technically, you didn't create a line with the 2 guard open, but make sure you're playing with the lever. And use your corners as well because sometimes you don't need to use the full blade to cut those dark spots away. And actually, I lied to you. I had to use the 4 guard open because his hair was kind of long, and I know it's gonna be the highest guard I'm gonna use. So just in case, like if you ever think there's too much hair on top, you want to use that 4 guard, then the 3 guard to make sure that the hair is not too heavy on the sides. And I'm really just going up and down the ladder of what the guards are. You know, I should make a graphic with the guard system and how it works, but it's very simple. So the reason why I'm attacking this line so much is because this is the line that sets up the rest of the fade, the actual baldness of the fade. So this line and debulk process is very key and vital to make the rest of the fade pop out because I can have a nice bald fade, the bald line is gone, but if the bald line's gone and the debulk line is still there, then it just looks like a bowl cut. So this is really important, and I really attack that every dark spot. Now I'm using the clip over comb because his hair was kind of sticking out right there. This is real simple. Get yourself a comb, clipper comb, and you don't want to cut too much hair off. So I always make sure I cut, like with the comb, I kind of like take less hair than I think I need, and then I go in to see if um, so that you can't put the hair back. So you don't want to take too much hair off first jump. So now, as you can see, with the whole debulk line gone, it kind of looks faded already. Now we just got to attack the bald line. So I'm going to go in with the half guard closed. And this is kind of a guideline, but it's not really because his hair is already cut down. And also, his hair, some clients will have thicker hair, but his hair is kind of thinner, so it's like easier to fade basically. And I'm gonna do the half guard close and then the half guard open. And the half guard open, you got to keep in mind that above that guard is where you were with the 1.5 guard. So you don't want to go higher than that. You want to make sure you're within range and don't do anything too much to bring the fade up. So that's why I use my corners, and I make sure that I'm checking every stroke with the clipper and making sure it's not going too deep into the fade. You really don't want to rush this process. Now I'm going with the one guard open and then closed. You really don't want to rush this process because, at least in my opinion, there's barbers who could do this way faster than me, but I don't really care about speed. I care about quality, and I'll go through every guard, every step, every lever to make sure that fade is blurry and gradient. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to listen to me, but if the product speaks for itself. This is how it comes out for me. So it's not a one size fits all type of thing. Cutting hair is different for everybody, but this is how I do it. You see how I'm using the corners to attack those dark spots and dark areas. Now we're going to use thinning shears to attack more dark spots. But the reason why I use thinning shears instead of the guard is because sometimes it's just too high, or it's too much of a risk to use the guard because you might bring the fade up. So I use the thinning shears to really take out the dark spots. Now I'm using the no guard open, and look how it's not really a guideline. It's not really a guideline because his hair is thinner on the side, so it's easier for me to just make that guideline low key and then just like flick up and corner work it out to fade it into the top. So once you do this, once you're on this step, you're gonna use the no guard, and then you just fade down with the no guard close and then the trimmer, and it's not too hard. The fade's already done. You just have to just bring it home. The detail work is super important to check for your dark spots, and maybe I haven't explained this yet, but a dark spot is basically the fade should be the same going from right to left in terms of brightness or darkness wise. So if I'm going in a light area but I see a dark place in a light area, then that dark place needs to be taken out. So that's where it's too much hair in that area. And if you know where you are in the guard system, you can take it out. But if you don't, that's why I use thinning shears, and that's why I use bigger guards so that I don't make a mistake while going to those dark spots. Now I'm shaping him up. His shape up was already kind of done. It's real simple. I want to show you how to use these enhancements I use personally. Kiss Tintation. I keep the bottle pretty far, and I don't spray that hard. Like, I really just tap lightly, and I don't expect it to be dark immediately. That's why I do a bunch of taps, bunch of sprays. The whole point of this is to enhance the cut, not make the cut. So make sure you're, when you first apply it, you want it to be as light as possible, and then you want to make sure that the enhancements themselves are even on both sides and spread evenly in terms of the color. Now we're going to use 245 shave gel. I usually shave the neck if the client has a lot of just neck hair on the beard, under the beard, so it's really effective, more effective than the trimmer and the foil shavers, and it's also satisfying. I mean, watching this clip, it's just like, wow, I like watching this. So it's fun to do, it's fun to watch. It's a win for everybody, and it's very simple. You want to make sure everywhere you are with the razor that you press your finger down, make sure that the skin is taut. The skin is very flexible, so you want to make it as unflexible as possible when you're using the razor. That's the best way I could describe it. So you want to make sure that you're in a comfortable position and your razor and angle is in a correct position and not going side to side. That's why I have my thumb here pulling the skin to make sure that the skin is not stretchy. That's the layman's way I could describe it. Make the skin not stretchy, because without pulling the skin, you're gonna cut somebody. So you want to make sure you pull the skin, and everywhere you have the razor, you're pulling the skin. Every single spot you have the razor, you should be pulling the skin. So now I'm just showing you the beard. This is a rough draft for me. Every time I do the beard, I do like a rough draft while he's laying down, and then I sit him up. And when I sit him up, I can see where exactly I should fix it. The reason why I do that is just a personal thing. I like the mirror to be able to make it as symmetrical as possible. And I tell my client to blow his cheek out. The reason why I do that is the same idea I pull the skin, is because it makes the area less flexible and malleable, and there's less room for error when it is solid like that. So just ask your client to blow air in his cheek, and the beard will be a lot easier to make straight. You want to do this with both sides. The reason why I like the mirror is just so I can see both sides at the same time. You know, when you lay them down, you can only see one side at once. So when I use the mirror, it's because I see both sides at the same time. So to me, it's very, very helpful. I love using the mirror. The mirror never lies. See, now I'm getting behind him, checking the mirror, make sure everything's symmetrical and even, and then boom! Thank you for watching. I appreciate you if you got this far. Share this with your barber friends, your non-barber friends. I don't know. Take care. Be safe.